back to the BigAsp Cornhole podcast, where we are now joined by ACL Pro Doubles team Corey Gilbert and Josh Thielen. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what up? What up?
Hey, guys.
So I know, Corey, you're currently like sitting in a car right now. You're playing Cornhole tonight. Where are you playing at?
I am playing in West Sacramento at West Sac Cornhole.
Okay, all right. You guys get pretty decent numbers?
Yeah, today we have 50.
That's good. Okay.
Hell yeah.
A little blind draw action.
Yeah, we do Switcholio on Tuesdays. Last night was singles. We had 50 in singles last night in Rancho.
Okay. Now, how do you like Switcholio? That's kind of like a hot topic. Some people love it. Some people hate it.
It all depends on what. So the way I look at it, people that are trying to like pat their SPR and like be the talk of their like little neighborhood or group, they take it real serious. They don't like it because they get a bad partner. For me, I love it. I get to meet the people in the area. I get to teach them, help them get better, help them grow the game. I don't care if you can't at the board. I mean, obviously I don't want to lose, but if you can't at the board, then I'm going to give you some tips to try to make you better. You know, I love getting the kids because they develop so fast, you know, and then meeting the fans is always nice too. But yeah, it's cool, man. I like meeting new people, hearing their story and how they got involved in cornhole.
So what's your story? How long have you been playing?
This is year number 3 for me.
So 3 years, and then so like you're barely 3 years in. You go to a pro qualifier. You go 8-0. I mean, what were your expectations going to the pro qualifier? I mean, obviously no one goes in the pro qualifier thinking I'm not going to make it, but so you probably had lofty expectations. Were you expecting to go 8-0 though?
No, man. Honestly, I wasn't even going to the qualifier 3 weeks prior. I went through a relationship situation. My buddy was like, "Hey, you should go to Rock Hill." I booked it about 3 weeks before. I was like, you know what? I'm going. Forget it. Like, I have nobody to answer to. I'm gonna get out of here and go. Like, I was kind of upset at the time, and I just booked it. It took off. I was enrolled in 0 events. I had a wait list for all 4 events when I got to Rock Hill.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, Josh Thielen, my partner, actually hooked me up with a guy named Matt Milburn from the Carolinas, and we ended up taking 4th in doubles out there. So that was crazy. And I took 2nd in my bracket in singles, losing the slow bomb, and then going 8-0 in the qualifier, and I took 3rd in the blind draw. So it was crazy. You know, I wasn't even going
that weekend because nobody knew who you were.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know who I was. You know, I was, I was a softball pitcher.
You know, like your game was at that level. I mean, because I don't think you like West Coast guys. You guys don't get enough love, you know, from like the ACL because there's not enough events out that way.
And that's what we all feel, man. We have a lot of good throwers out here. It's deep. Like our 9 to 10 PPR guys, there's 40 of them, at all these tournaments, and anybody could win. But it's hard to go to the East Coast every other weekend.
Well, listen, you guys already have the beautiful fucking weather. You don't need all the love, too. You know what I mean? Like, we had like 14 inches of snow here yesterday. So
that's what my cousin said. He called me. He worked downtown Cleveland.
We were in a state of emergency for like 12 hours here. It was ridiculous. Like, I work for a big pain management practice. We've never closed. Like, they literally shut us down. And after I got to fucking work. So then they decided to tell us, like, oh, yeah, we're going to close for the day. It took me 3 hours to get here, but don't worry about it. It's like, I'll venture back out. So awesome. Josh, what's going on? I know you've been sitting here quiet. So you're enjoying a beverage. What are you drinking?
I'm enjoying a Liquid Gravity Don't Trip out of San Luis Obispo, Southern California.
I know you got the appropriate glass and everything.
Yeah, I couldn't get Pliny in time, but I do have the Pliny glass.
There we go. I like it. So how long have you been playing?
I've been playing 4 years.
Okay.
I would say the first 2 socially, and then the last 2 a little bit more serious.
Okay. Now, how did you find the jump from because I think every player kind of goes through this period, and we were talking about this off air. We're at this stage where we got pretty good pretty quick, and then we get to advanced, but now we're very low level advanced players, and we feel like we're stuck there. Did you ever find yourself there, or have you kind of just kept getting better as you played?
I took it serious before Spencer McKinsey's 2019. My partner and I decided to go. I mean, we could drive there, so not a big deal, but we've heard great things from friends and some of the other cornhole players we've gotten to know. And so I didn't want to suck. So we went there and I grinded a little bit outside. You have on the asphalt, set up the boards and throw middle of the day, 90-degree heat, just get ready for Ventura. And so we get there, and you're in the pool play, and one of the teams in our pool was Noah Wooten and Derek King, and so we were gearing up for. Fortunately, we didn't get them the first game. That could have been ugly, but we got them. Probably game 5, a few beers in, and we hung with them for a hot second, and then it was like 8-8. And then they're like, okay, that's enough. You guys had your fun. Now we're going to end the game. And so that's how it was 2 years ago. But at that tournament, it's like, wow, this is what good looks like. All right, so I have to throw differently. You see the pros throw, they have a different throw. It's lower and it's harder than what you would expect. So until you see that, you don't really know how you're supposed to improve your game.
How did this partnership happen? Like, how did you guys decide, like, hey, let's partner up? I mean, obviously you're both in California. It sounds like you guys are a little bit of ways from each other.
SAC is we're probably 90 minutes apart, Corey?
Yeah, probably about an hour and a half, hour 45.
Josh, where are you out of?
I'm out of the Bay Area.
Okay, all right. That's right. Oh yeah, it's like, well, listen, it could be 4 hours with your guys' fucking traffic out there, though.
Yeah.
I took so when I was coaching rugby, we went on a California tour. We flew into Sacramento area. We went from like Sacramento to Bay, but it took us like 5 hours.
Yeah, if you leave in prime time hours, you're in trouble.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any control over that, Corey. So I was toting around 20 high school kids in a fucking van.
I guess could have delayed the flight long enough, right?
Yeah.
So, you guys have obviously played against each other, I'm assuming, then, and you guys recognize game, and how'd that go?
Yeah, so that's a funny story. Can I tell the story?
Yes, of course.
So at the aforementioned Spencer's tournament, that's where Corey and I met.
Okay.
And so my partner John and I, we had a great time in the round robin. We made it to the top tier, and then we got bounced real fast. And so they had this Traeger blind draw, like $40, and the winner takes home a Traeger grill. Pretty cool concept, right? And so I got paired with somebody else also out of Northern California, Rudy AI. He's a great thrower. He was a pro last year, actually. He had a good run at the qualifier himself. And so, we're plowing through the bracket and facing really tough talent. And we made it to the final and go up to the boards. And who's next to me? Corey Lightskin Gilbert.
Hey.
So that's how we met in the Traeger final. We had a superstar, I think, call the game out of Florida. Wasn't it Rob Chismark?
Yeah.
Rob Chismark called the game. We were down, my partner and I were down 17-1 in 4 frames. And, I reach over for my beer. I'm like, all right, this is going to be a quick one. I might as well enjoy it. And we chipped away. We ended up winning 21-20.
Okay.
And so that's how I met Corey.
How's that sit with you? I see you adjusting the cap.
Oh, it's frustrating because the guy, his partner at the time who won the Traeger, sold it to somebody in my area. So every weekend for the last 2 years, they walk in and, oh man, I had some ribs on my Traeger. Oh, that's your Traeger, huh? My bad. Every single weekend for the last 2 years, I had to hear about how I blew a 17-1 lead to this guy.
I like it. So, so is this your rookie season as well, or were you pro last year? So how did you qualify? Did you go through the qualifier as well?
I didn't have to go through. I qualified on points.
Okay, on points. Okay, so you're one of the select few.
1 of 24. Yeah, had a great season. Just very consistent throughout, and so I was happy to cheer Corey and a few other California players on at the qualifier.
What are some other names on the West Coast? Like, obviously, we know the big ones. Like, we've had Tyler and Brevin on the show. I'm trying to think who else West Coast was. We've had a bunch of guys out from the West Coast. Who are some other names, like, of some up-and-coming guys that maybe people need to kind of look out for, whether they're pros now or you think that they have the potential to be pros?
Corey, you want to cover the young ones? I can cover the old ones.
Yeah, I got you. So right now we have Brandon Ballard out of Southern California. Part of our Bofi crew. He's going to be a superstar quick. We have Adrian Brunson out of Northern California, Vince Frisch out of Northern California. All these kids are sub 15, but they're monsters, singles, California state champions, runner-ups, first, second, third. They cover a pretty good area. One you guys probably already know about, Mason Morgado.
Yep.
He's another Southern California guy, but he's already making a name. Mr. Blind Draw is what I call him.
Okay.
I figure the open blind draw is gonna win.
What about the
Yeah,
old
we-
boys?
And we have some older guys that just they haven't traveled at least for a while. So Ken Jones, Nick Renovitz, those are the historic pros out of
Yeah.
California. Tom Embry out of Sacramento, he's a beast.
Gidget.
Adrian's dad, Anthony, is really coming on strong. And then some of the guys out of SoCal, Nate Long, Josh Hill, I think in Matt Allen on, and then Matt Stratman, who I played with quite a bit last year. He's an absolute terror on the boards when he's hot. So yeah, a lot of really good players.
Yeah, I think as the sport grows, and I think that eventually like the ACL will probably have more than like one headquarters. As it goes a little bit more. Obviously, there's gonna be more events and stuff. So I always like seeing events going out that way, just because you get to see more of like the competitive, advanced type players go out that you might have never heard of. So it's nice to kind of shed some light on the talent that's out there as well. Because like you said, like if you can't travel right now, I mean, it's tough. Now, how is life right now with like where you guys are living? Like, are you guys like, is California still crazy lockdown stuff like that? Like,
No, not where I'm at least. I mean, it's pretty cool. I mean, most places are like, hey, wear a mask when you walk through the door, and then take it off, and you can sit down wherever. And, it's pretty chill. Even though today my doctor, I'm not vaccinated.
Okay.
So my appointment was skipped because they told me that, well, because I'm not vaccinated, I couldn't be seen by the doctor today. That was kind of upsetting.
it is, huh? That's odd. Is
I'm
that
like,
Yeah,
good.
that's- if you're in a big city.
practice-wide policy?
Yeah.
Seems like an odd practice. All right.
Yeah, it's weird.
Big pharma practice right there.
Yeah.
Conspiracies.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
I'm still actually hung up on this Traeger grill. All right, so it's a doubles tournament. How do they only give away one?
Yeah,
No, they gave away two.
Oh, I
you
got
did
the
that?
other one.
Josh.
I got the other one. Don't worry. I send Corey pics all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you guys good year. Sorry.
You
All
should
right,
smoke
Oh,
this
yeah.
man some
Yeah.
delicious meats and bring it with you to tournaments. All right, it's only fair.
Hey, he's
Don't
got
get
an
me-
open invite to come over and enjoy the delicious meat off my Traeger. But I think that's part of the reason he hasn't come over yet.
Are you afraid of what meat he's going to be cooking?
I'm gonna accidentally trip and fall into that Traeger. Oh no, I don't know what happened. Swear, I didn't even see it. It came out of nowhere. It just fell.
So just to add insult to injury, Josh, what's the best thing that you've cooked on that beautiful Traeger grill?
I know a biscuit.
That's a very tough call. I would go second place, tri-tip, which is a pretty popular cutout in California. But top of the line, I'm gonna have to go with short ribs. I make a killer short ribs.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Sounds
Put it
delicious.
over some mashed potatoes, the beautiful gravy over the top. It just melts in your mouth.
That sounds amazing.
I'm gonna have to beat you. I'm gonna have to beat him in singles again this weekend. Now you guys started again.
So, you guys, who are you guys sponsored by bag wise this year? What bags are you guys throwing?
Lucky.
Lucky.
Okay. Was that so? They're not huge out there. Like I know Noah probably brought them out.
That
there.
was me. That was me.
That was you. Okay. So had you been throwing Lucky bags for a while then?
Crazy. Yeah, actually, yeah. I threw it pretty much the whole year. I was throwing Ultra for a while. Kind of was on like a little seesaw action. I was like, let me try these Lucky bags. I threw them for the first time. I won. We had a big singles event out here. I won the singles event. I never looked back. I just started throwing my snipers, and I turned into a whole different person. And those same bags went
Snipers or pro sniper?
pro snipers.
Okay, pro sniper. All right, all right. So is that what you guys are deciding? Is that what you guys throwing doubles now? Pro snipers?
Most of the time, yes. Unless the boards are really fast and with those surefires.
So Josh, you coming in the game about 4 years ago, I'm assuming you used to throw ultra.
I started with all cornhole because everyone threw slide rights back then,
Okay.
and then ultra took off.
Yeah.
So I was an ultra thrower until Corey and I decided to use Lucky bags this season.
Do you see a lot of Lucky bags out in your area?
Now we do. It's interesting. I was commenting to somebody in our league the other week that before it was the all cornhole and ultra show. Now there's so much more variety.
Yeah.
I think folks are interested in trying different bags and trying to find their style. But yeah, we see a lot of Lucky in our club particularly.
Okay.
My club is
they're pretty comparable
club
to
is
some of the something, especially if you're throwing pro snipers. I mean, pretty comparable to like a Viper or Viper C kind of stuff. So it's pretty
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, what's nice about Corey's pro snipers is I mean, how many games do you think you've thrown with those things?
7
They are
million.
sticky. So that's why we like them. They actually
Okay.
they have like the stick of a surefire, but they're hole friendly like a pro sniper. So it's a really good balance.
So is that just like the magical, like that skid mark we were talking about before we started recording?
Yeah.
Just
Totally.
do you have a break-in method they use, or is this just hours and hours throwing that bag?
That's probably 100 cans of Grizzly Wintergreen down the middle of the bag. It just slows them down.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about expectations this year. You guys are ACL rookies. What are your realistic expectations going in? Is it, let's just say, like, let's go and feel it out. We want top 50, so we're in here again next year as a doubles team. Obviously, individually, you can have your goals and stuff, but as a team, is top 50 the goal, or you guys have loftier expectations?
I mean, for me, I'm definitely a lot loftier than that. I've watched the game the last 2 years. I've seen it change. I've seen it get a lot younger, a lot newer, a lot faster, a lot of different shots, and I'm watching the West Coast make some noise, the Midwest still booming with players, but it just got really young really fast. And some people don't want to let it go. They want to kind of keep that old mentality, but I think it's going to be a lot of names shaking up this year in the top 50, top 25 as far as players go. But for us personally, I want a, top 15 doubles list, and I want to be top 25 singles personally.
Okay. Josh, what about
Corey,
you?
well, I was just going to clarify. By younger, you mean younger pros, not younger, because you can see there's a lot of great. I would say Corey and I are aligned certainly on doubles. I think top 50 singles, that would be, I mean, first year pro would be amazing. But, Corey's doubles game is just nasty. And when he gets to line up on, I mean, it doesn't matter which side, but he gets to kind of own that side for a game. As the game goes on, the chances of you winning decrease. So I'm very happy I get to throw with Corey. We have a very similar style, and we like to control the board. So once we get first bag, we don't like to give that back. And it's not always blocking. It depends on who we're playing. Sometimes, going in the hole is the best offense, right? Especially when you're playing with somebody who likes to block the hole. Yeah. So yeah, we're very strategic, smart in how we play.
It's surprising that you say that, because I know, Corey, you've been through some of these open event stuff. You've been pretty high on like the PPR list. At least I know through some of these, like you were, top 5 PPR, throwing some of this. So it's surprising that you're not just like a hole hunter. You know what I mean? That you do play some sort of like that strategy game.
Yeah, that's what's crazy is I block a lot. I play a big push game, but I was able to collect on a lot of blocks that weekend. So my PPR was normally higher. Normally, I aim to be a high 9s guy. Okay. Low 10s if I'm cooking, because if somebody wants to race me, I don't want to block too much. I try to be low 10s. I let them get like maybe 8, 12 bags in a row. Then I throw a block in there. I trust my push over anybody's airmail any day of the week. That's just what I play. I feel like you're gonna miss an airmail before I miss a push. It's not always true.
Do you feel like that's a skill that maybe newer players are leaving out a lot now that like the flop and roll bag is in? You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's so many opportunities where I see younger players, especially, where they could just go for what seems to be like old school wise would be the smart play, a push replace, instead of they're just trying to flop and roll over it. Do you feel like that's something that new players need to remember, that's a skill that you got to have to be good in this game?
I mean, it's tough because if you can I feel like being elite at one thing gives you the edge. So if you could be in the top 1% of a push game, you have an advantage. If you can be in the top 1% of roll game, you have an advantage. But if you're not going to be in the top 1%, you better have all shots of the game, because if you miss left with the roll and then miss right with the roll, I'm going to slide down the middle. I'm getting 4 points every round.
Yeah, correct.
You got to make sure you hit that shot if you're going to leave my bag there.
I'm just not a firm believer of the roll back yet. Like I see it, like, and when I get to watch a match and people do it, looks fucking amazing. You're right. It looks cool. It's awesome, but like it hasn't consistently won shit yet. I mean, Noah Wu won a national one time. Like, and I think he's a talented player, but like That's it. So if you look at all the other nationals, it's people who are throwing high PPRs. Like fucking Damon Dennis isn't rolling shit. He can barely cut it back. You know what I mean? It looks ugly.
Matt guy.
You know what I mean? Matt guy. Look at all the top tier guys. It's still, when it comes down to it, you can try to do all this fancy stuff, but the fanciest shots that they pretty much have is either an airmail or like a collect bag. And I think that's something that young players maybe leave out a little bit. And maybe as pros, you guys can talk about this too. How important is collecting a bag? If your first bag, you miss a little bit left or right, you know a player's really good if they're able to bring that bag back by their fourth bag into play. And that's like something like Eric Davis has become like really good. Brett Guy is another guy that comes to mind that's phenomenal at that. Is that something you guys practice actively?
I would say so. I used, especially during the pandemic. So the Bay Area was pretty much shut down for cornhole, which was pretty brutal. It became like this underground, almost speakeasy scene, which is kind of fun actually. But I threw a lot of ghost games, and what you learn real fast in ghost games is when you burn a bag left or right, if you chase it, it's suicide. You're only going to hurt yourself, and so it actually helps you with discipline. I mean, will I chase a bag? Yes, if I think I can get it. But it's kind of like almost like a poker game. It's risk reward. If somebody's already in with two bags and it's a tight game, I'm okay giving up two. I'm not
I take
okay
tens
giving
all
up
day.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really, I mean, if you seriously think about it, you throw tens all day, you're beating 95% of the field.
Yeah.
Isn't ACL changing their name to Tens Don't Win?
Yeah.
Something. Let's see. Somebody posted, talking about Ghost. Somebody posted a question. John Hedges. He wants to know which of you is going to be first to beat Ghost 22 on Level Up Cornhole.
Oh,
Are you guys
he gets
familiar with
Josh, you
Level
were
Up?
trying it last night, I believe, right? As I was waiting for your response.
yes.
Are you guys familiar with Level Up? It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I just don't have, like, right now it's Ohio. It's wintertime. I don't have an indoor place to really play.
Got it.
I also have two little kids, so I have like zero free time. So why do a podcast? So I can get out of my house for a few hours on a Tuesday. Like that's basically it. So it's the secret's out. But yeah, no, we're familiar with Level Up. So are you guys? Is anyone beaten Ghost 22 yet?
No.
No.
How
We
many
have
of you guys are at level 21?
I think there's 5 of us. Corey and I, Tony Smith, a couple other
Tony
guys.
Smith.
Are they still sending out, like, I know for a while they were doing like either patches or stickers for whatever level you're on? Like that was the idea of it.
Yeah, you could buy it from that guy that runs it.
Well, what's his
Ed.
name again? I want to give him a shout out. It was Howlett.
Ed Howlett.
Ed
Yeah.
Howlett. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know it was big. Like during the pandemic, the thing was really taking off. I know some people, it doesn't seem like quite as active as it was, but I thought during the pandemic it was a great thing. Like we did a few like live stream type cornhole, like ghost cornhole type stuff. So do you feel ghost cornhole is a good practice indicator? I always personally like the 8 bags throwing. I just felt like it was a little bit better. What do you guys think?
I mean, I love it personally.
Yeah.
Me
People
too.
ask me like, how do you practice? You know, I'm like, well, there's no better way than to play Ghost 21 or Ghost 22 because you have zero tolerance to miss. You have to hold yourself to a higher standard of throwing the bag in the hole. Like literally tens don't score against Ghost 22, so you have to get dialed in and throwing bags down the middle and throwing bags down the middle. Because I mean, if you miss 2 battles, you're giving up points. So there's no comfort in being okay with throwing an 8 or throwing a 9. You have to lock in and focus on throwing 10s or 12s.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one to answer. Nobody's beaten Ghost 22. I'm sure somebody will at some point.
At some point it'll happen.
Yeah, I mean, Corey and I are both competitive, so I'm going to say I'm going to beat him to the punch.
My next chance I get, I'm beating it.
I like that. Trying to think what some of these listener questions here real fast. Let's see. Richard Head wants to know, was beating Jamie and Jordan the highlight of your young ACL careers?
Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, sorry, I got a scoop out here I got Westside Cornhole on my window right now. We came outside. Yeah, I mean, that was honestly our first open, of the year. So was it a great win? Yes, that's a great team to play. But that's the level I feel that me and Josh can't compete at and should compete at all year. So I hope it goes from being a surprise to being a routine thing. I don't want to seem like it's out of the norm or it's a big shock. Like, oh my God, it's a huge upset. You know, it should be like, yeah, you know, the Corey and Josh are good. They can win that game. I don't want it to be a shock anymore.
Okay.
We had a really nasty game before that one, actually. We had to play, two incredible players, Eric Anderson. Right?
Ryan Smith.
And
Who is he
Ryan
playing
Smith.
with?
Ryan Smith.
Okay, he was with Ryan. Okay, yeah.
And they were cooking. Like, I mean, it was a tough game, but yeah,
They've
I mean,
been I don't know what's going on. They're a team that's I had higher expectations early on in the season. I think they're just still figuring shit out. But I mean, they're both immensely talented players.
oh
So,
yeah, they threw really well too. I mean,
Eric
how many
I guess
airmail
we can
did
announce now,
Ryan hit?
Eric Anderson's actually the first ever player who's sponsored by us. So he's the
Okay.
first BigAsp Cornhole sponsored player. So
He is.
yeah,
He's a cool dude.
Thanks for beating him. So I guess that's good.
Well, I'll say I hooked Eric Anderson up with my cousin now. My cousin cuts his hair down there in Cleveland.
No shit. Where's your cousin located at?
Oh shoot, he's at Premier Barbershop.
Okay.
And yeah, so I hooked him up because I was in Cleveland about 2 months ago. I got to go to the island on Erie, I think it's.
Presque
Yeah,
Isle.
Presque Isle.
There we go. Yep.
We went to school. We went to college in Erie, so we're familiar with the area. So are you originally from Ohio, or is just your family?
My dad is. My dad's from Illyria.
Okay, all right. Our family's from.
So-
My dad's from North Ridgeville, so they're bordering.
Oh
cities.
yeah, I know where that's at. I went there. I got to see the the Rydell and all that steel mills and all that
I mean, it's
warehouse down there. My
corn
dad
country.
was.
Their big claim to fame every year is a corn festival that they have. It's
Hey man, but you can get an ear of corn roasted over an open fire and then just walk around
Big
and
time.
eat it. No
It's
one gives a
big
shit.
time. The question I was going to ask before that one, I kind of blanked out on. You guys were talking about being able to switch it on. That's why you like playing Ghost 22. How impressive was it when you watched somebody beat that guy, right? So like he's been on this streak right now, right? It's 3 consecutive second place finishes, which is still fucking incredible, right? I mean, I couldn't even imagine being there. There's 2 matches that kind of come to mind. And I want to get your guys' opinions on them. The first one was, how impressed were you guys with Alex Hicks, right? The fact that he was able to go 47 rounds against the GOAT, beating him at his own game, right? And then the other one, Cheyenne Renner, who, same thing, weathered the storm early, strung a bunch of bags together after match started. I think the match was like 36 straight, something like that. How impressed were you guys with both those performances? And at the end of that, what do you think is going to happen first? Are we going to see a junior player win nationals, or are we going to see a female win nationals first?
Ooh.
Couple questions.
Singles. I'm gonna say singles.
Yeah, because everyone says the same thing.
Well,
for
Cheyenne and
doubles.
Jane Baldwin will
Yeah.
probably win, maybe might win. So that's what I'm saying. In singles, what do you think is going to happen? So I'll open the floor.
So I mean, seeing both Hicks and Cheyenne beat Matt, super impressive. It's not like Matt had a bad game. He's shooting like almost an 11 PPR.
I think it's Alex. He did. I think he threw an over an 11, and Alex
That's
was like an
incredible.
11.17, something crazy like that.
So just in perspective, so I've been trying Ghost 22 for a while, and I feel like I can put quite a few bags in the hole. So last night I lost 14-21, shooting a 10.86 PPR. I mean, but to beat somebody like Matt Guy or Cheyenne when she's hot, or Alex Hicks, you have to, right? Like you have to be at that level or even higher.
Yeah.
I think there's something when you're throwing against somebody, it makes it a little bit easier, but still, I mean, what they've accomplished, the 3 of those, incredible. I mean, the game is just at a different level right now.
Oh yeah. So answer the question. What's gonna happen first?
I think we're gonna see a female or a young one.
Female?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm going with the junior.
Okay. All right. Now, what junior do you think is going to be this year, or who do you think would be the first junior?
Oh, it's gonna be a junior, okay? Which junior? Oh man, Baby Goat is solid.
I think
That's
he's gotta
tough,
be
man.
Goat, no?
You know what's impressive about Baby Goat is that every singles event he's entered this year, he's won.
Wow, that's
Because
ridiculous.
you have kids like Jake Gore, man. I watched Jake Gore throw last week in
Dude,
North
that
Carolina.
kid, like he's lucky. I love the Gore, and I love their dad. We had him on a few weeks ago, right? Scotty Gore would be the first one. He's lucky he's 12, because if you act like that when he's 16, 17, he's gonna have some of these grown men not looking at him the same. You know what I mean? Like, and I listen. There's a fine line between confidence and swag. And right now, because he's 12 and he's little, he's got swag, and it's cute and it's fun and it's fucking awesome. I hope he matures, and I hope like the early success doesn't go to his head. Luckily, they have a great dad who I think is doing an awesome job, like keeping them like level-headed. But like I watched a kid play this weekend, and the only time I've ever heard Eddie Grindersleeve get excited in a match was when he was throwing against that kid.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The only time he just brings it out. You don't even want to. And Eddie, I don't know if you guys know Eddie at all, but he is the quietest dude ever.
Very quiet.
Polite, like you won't hear him say a peep, but he was getting audibly fired up. Like, and
Yeah,
it was the funniest thing ever. But I agree.
Yeah, I played Jack.
Those kids are
I
crazy.
played Jack at the qualifier, and
Okay.
same thing. He had 12 grown men like frustrated, and they're like, "Light skin, how'd you stay so calm?" And I was like, "I'm used to this. Like that, it bothers me, but it doesn't bother me externally.
Mhm.
Internally, it fuels me, but not externally. You know,
Oh yeah.
because I know he's 12. I've been there. Before our second game, I had to talk with him. I pulled him to the side. I had to talk to him. You know, like, hey, little man, hey, you're still new to this. You know, I've been doing this for a while. Like, I would advise you to do this, this, and this. Let's have a better second game. And he was like, hey, I'm sorry. You know, light skin won't happen again.
They're good kids.
He calmed
They are. They're
down
great
a
kids.
little bit. But he didn't know what he was doing. He was in his emotions, you know. And I was like, I'm one that can handle it, you know, but I'm going to give you a little word of advice, because if you do it again, it's not going to go.
Can you imagine you're 12 years old and you were that good at cornhole? How would you have acted?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
but
the same way. Like I can't fault them because I would have been the same fucking way. I would have been.
my
I
parents
would have
are
walked my head off the side all weekend playing. You know what I mean?
my parents are both military, and that wasn't allowed in my house. Not with adults. You know, with adults, it's yes sir, yes ma'am. I speak when I'm spoken to. You know, it's tight with, it's straight. I'm not gonna yell at any adult when I'm 12. That's for sure. Cause I don't. That ride home would have sucked. I wouldn't be playing cornhole too much longer. Let me tell you.
So you would have been more the Alex Hicks who doesn't say a word.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been like a baby Tiger Woods, you know, a little fist bump there, a little wink. You know, that's it.
So guys, we've all been playing for a while.
Yeah.
We have different motivations. So as you're playing a tough match against somebody who's nasty, you have different things going through your mind. What is Alex Hicks thinking? Do you guys have any? I mean,
we interviewed him. We asked him, like, what's going through your mind, like when you're playing, and he's like, just focusing on throwing the bag at the hole. Like, just like the most, like,
wow.
It's crazy because, like, listen, we're all adults. We all have things like mortgages and jobs and making money and like pressures outside of here. This kid's 12 years old. He wants to maybe talk to a girl at recess. You know what I mean? Like, that's like the biggest stress in his life right now. That and throwing a cornhole back in a hole, and he's phenomenal at it. And that's why, like, I was so blown away with how easygoing he was about the whole situation.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, like, that hits the nail on the head, in my opinion, as to why I see a junior player winning a national before a female, because they have that kind of levity to the game that they bring to it and enjoyment, where I feel like any female adult that makes it there is going to feel pressure naturally. And yeah, I mean, a young kid might, but at the same time, you might just have that.
I mean, Cheyenne can do it, but she's the leader of the pack for women for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have guys like, you know, Mason or Jake or Jack or Alex and all these kids. They all gonna have a great weekend and get hot and win a national.
You still got to lump like Caleb Batson into that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so many. There's 6 or 7 of them that can really do it at any time, and it's like, as the women's side, you know, no disrespect, they're really good, but Cheyenne she's ahead, you know, and I think she has the best chance out of the women's side to do it.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there's no chance.
Yeah, her consistency right now is just next level. I mean, it's like Mac Guy level.
Absolutely. Well, so thank you for answering the question honestly. We had some people who were like trying to be political about it, but all right.
I'm not trying to be political.
It's more. I like. Listen, I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble. Like, it's an interesting question. I think it's gonna happen. You know, it's a female's gonna win and a junior's gonna win one day. I just want to know, like, what do people think is gonna happen first? Because a junior wasn't even on my radar until Alex Hicks, and I'm like, well, fuck, this could happen. I mean,
they've been on my radar because I could not beat a damn 12-year-old to save my life.
Well, that's
he lost to a 10-year-old at league last week, so it's all right.
So Connie, though,
he's playing with his grandfather.
You guys see Connie this weekend? She was nasty.
My thing is, I don't want to take anything away from her. She is a phenomenal player. She wasn't the one that beat Renner, though. So I want to give a little credit to Cassidy, who did take Connie to the second game. So
Yeah.
I mean, and you want to give a little. I'm not taking anything away from her. I think that Cassidy deserves a little bit of credit. She was throwing lights out. I think just kind of gassed out a little bit at the end, but all three of them are phenomenal players. I mean,
Connie didn't give Cheyenne her first loss.
no, I don't think so. I think Cassidy. Or I know Cassidy knocked her out at least.
Yeah.
No. Miranda Coy, I think, beat Renner the first
Okay,
time.
all right.
Put her in the losers bracket, and then Cassidy won the second time. I think. I'm pretty
Side
sure.
bet, Corey. If you haven't lost too much from your Cowboys game, side bet.
Wait, are you a
All right,
Cowboys fan?
Man, don't get me
Wait,
started.
I
you're
won some good money
California.
on that.
How are you?
I got 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes before I got to play. I don't want to waste it on Cowboy stuff.
All right, I got a listener question for you both from Dustin Michael.
Hey, Dustin Michael.
I take it you guys know him. But his
moved up to
question
the
for you
East
both
Coast.
is, who's the person in your area that gives you the most trouble in a singles match?
Kids.
Okay.
The single person, yeah, I would actually, I would also say that. I mean, I had a great year last year. Brennan was my torture. Like every time I played him, it seemed like he beat me. So yeah, I would say kids too.
Yes. Brendan Ballard and Adrian Brunson. We finally were able to conquer Vincent a couple times, but those kids are tough, man. They play with so much pace, man, and consistency. It's just like they don't blink. Your back hits the board and they're firing down the middle, and before you know it, whether it's 17-0 you or 17-0 then, they're back in the game or it's over. It's just they play at a crazy fast pace.
Go to this one.
All right, well then we actually have a question just for Corey from Brian Schurmeister. He wants to know what ACL pro you would let cut your hair.
So I heard that Fuentes is a barber also.
Oh, is he really? I didn't know that. Okay.
I could see that.
That's what I heard. I believe it's Fuentes, so I will definitely let him cut my hair.
Okay.
Yeah, it has to be a barber. If not, I'll do it myself.
Then, all right, so we do have the brand. Dustin Michael also asked, which celebrity or athlete would you want to be the barber for and why?
Man, for me,
You
being
go LeBron and just because it keeps fading back anyways. And
nah, he
much
needs
cut?
more than me. For me, my biggest person I've always wanted to cut hair for, he's retired now, was David Ortiz. I'm a Red Sox fan. Big Poppy is
You're
like
all over the
Yeah,
map,
come
bro.
on, man. What is this? Cowboys and Red Sox? Like, were you born like the year that they happened to win a championship? Like, how old are you?
I'm 33, just turned last Friday, my birthday.
And I understand the Red Sox then, because I mean, are you a semi-Patriots fan as well then in there?
No. So I played for the Red Sox when I was T-ball and farms, and I watched them on TV when I was 4 and 5. So my dad said I was hooked on them.
Okay.
My mom was born in New Mexico on the border of Texas, so Dallas Cowboys were the closest team to my mom's side of the family, so they raised me Cowboys fans. That's where the Cowboys comes from. Other than that, I'm Boston everything. Outside, besides the Patriots. No.
Even
Cowboys.
the Celtics?
Yep.
Sorry.
But I'm not, like I said, basketball is not really my thing. It's football is where I ride or die.
So
Cowboys,
you
I cry myself to
grew
sleep.
up playing football?
Baseball.
You grew up with baseball. All right, what position?
First base, third base, and pitcher.
All right, so you had a little bit of power then.
It was crazy. I didn't. I hit for average. It was awkward.
Okay.
I was a 6'3" first baseman who hit 400. It was backwards.
But it's kind of the same. The same is true in cornhole. So I've played Corey many times. We've battled, and I remember a time we were out in the with my club, Pacific Coast Cornhole. We're outside in 90-degree heat in California. You can imagine how fast the boards are.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And Corey's throwing vipers and he's stopping them. And I'm like, dude, how are you doing that? Like, mine kept flying off the back of the board. And he's like, yeah, no, it's easy. These boards are slow. So he's got the finesse. He's got the touch.
Josh,
Josh,
what
what
about
about
6'3"? It's a think roll for him. I mean,
Josh, what
he's
about
got
you?
it.
Did you grow up playing any sports?
Baseball as well. Mainly
Okay, so big baseball. What positions?
Left field, mainly. Left field and DH, if you would imagine that.
Oh,
So,
that's crazy. I mean, I would imagine anything now.
yeah. But I grew up in Minnesota where it was cold. So, you guys were talking about 16 inches of snow and snow day yesterday.
You guys have a baseball season in Minnesota.
It's like 3 months long.
Yeah, I don't even know why they have high school baseball here in Ohio.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
90% of the games get rained out. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of pointless. It's not even worth it.
I used to I used to be a high school umpire, and I would just show up to fields and just be like, why am I even here right now? I'm just going to call this game. I mean, there's a puddle at the pitcher's mound.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, so what we're gonna do is we'll let everyone else go, and then we'll have you guys hang on just for a few minutes, and then. But thank you for joining us. It's super entertaining. We're definitely after you guys win a national, we'll have you guys back on.
Definitely.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen. You guys are. Listen, I got to see you guys play finally on like some live streams. I was super impressed. So I think you guys definitely have all the talent in the world to do it. Ooh, he's gonna walk through the blind draw. Look at this. He's got the man.
On court one, guys. You can mute me.
All right, Corey. So we'll let you go. We'll let the rest of the people go. But Josh, hang on with us just for a minute. We'll chat it up here.
Sounds good.
I love that guy's shirt. By the way, Cheech and Chong shirts.
Almost
Fucking
knocking
great.
over the
Love
score
it.
tower.
All
I
right.
love it.
So as always, we hope you throw it straight. And it's nothing but four baggers from here on out.
Right here. No back.